through a grant agreement with the New Mexico Department of Transportation to fund a master plan and trail alignment study for the Rio Grande Trail. The Energy, Minerals, and Natural Resources Department is tasked with managing the procurement of the contractor, the review of the proposals, and contracting with someone to actually conduct the study and will also oversee that effort. The RFP, which has been out since December 21st, was advertised in the Albuquerque Journal, the Las Cruces Sun-Times, and the Santa Fe New Mexican. It's also on our website. So far, I personally and David have sent out RFPs to 18 different vendors, and they're from a variety of locations, and they're not all within New Mexico. So I'm very encouraged by the response that we've gotten. People are very interested. The scope of work for the master plan and alignment study is outlined in very great detail in the grant agreement that we have with the Department of Transportation. So that is very well outlined. It should be very clear to prospective offerers what it is we're looking for. There's a mandatory pre-proposal meeting that's been included in this process, primarily because we have a relatively complicated group of people that are involved in this whole effort. And we want to make sure that the offerers understand all of the different stakeholders and all of the different responsible parties. And it was something that was difficult to include in a written request for proposal document. So we're requiring that all prospective offerers attend the meeting, which will be in our department, which is on 1220 South St. Francis. People can participate by phone if they can't actually make it in person. And at that meeting, we'll try to describe more fully the responsibilities and roles of the commissioners and the working groups, my department, and other entities that are involved. And of course, answer any questions that the contractors, potential offerers might have about what the expectations are. So the scope of work is basically a two-phase thing. The first is develop a master plan for the trail. And then the second phase is to develop alternative regional trail alignments and offer a preferred alternative. So that's the outcome that we're looking for. Because the working groups are such an important part of this whole effort, I would like to offer, if there's a working group leader that would like to participate in this mandatory pre-proposal meeting, to please let me know. That way we can develop an agenda, a clear agenda, and talk a little bit ahead of time about what the expectations are. The meeting is going to be on January 19th at 2 o'clock at our department. So it's coming up relatively soon. So if we have a working group leader here that wants to participate, please let me know as soon as possible, and we'll work that into the agenda. Proposals are due February 16th. They're a maximum of 50 pages. A review committee will be established to review all of the proposals. The criteria for evaluation are very clearly established in the RFP. And so we will have a meeting in which all the reviewers get together, score the proposals, and the highest scoring proposal will be identified and will pursue a contract with that proposal. So we are looking for commissioners who are interested in participating in the evaluation committee. If one of you would like to participate in that, it would probably be sometime after a week or so after February 16th, and I anticipate about 20 to 40 hours worth of work, depending upon how many proposals we receive. Everyone needs to review them carefully ahead of time, and then we'll come together and score them at the meeting and review the scores and discuss each of the proposals. So if one of the commissioners would like to participate, please let me know. will then, as I said, work with the contractor to develop a contract which will be signed. The contract will be between the Energy, Minerals, and Natural Resources and the contractor. It'll be signed by the contractor's representative and our cabinet secretary, and then forwarded to the Department of Finance Administration and the Tax and Revenue Department. And so we anticipate that following the date that we receive proposals, it could be as much as 60 days before we actually have a contract in place, assuming that everything goes smoothly. So the time frame then would be looking at maybe late April or early May before work could actually begin with the contractor. Our grant agreement with the Department of Transportation expires on October 1st of 2018. There is a provision to extend that, but I think as far as the work of the contractor goes, that's a reasonable time frame for us to expect that the work will be finished. So I think that's the best assumption right now as far as time frame is concerned. So any questions about that process or the request for proposals? Great, thank you.
Judy, I've got one question.
Yes.
With assigning the points in the rubric, how does that work in terms of, it's 45 points for 8 bullet points, 12 bullet points. How do you make those decisions?
It's a little bit subjective, but we'll have probably 6 or 7 reviewers, and as you go from proposal to proposal, you get a sense of how those points would be apportioned out, based on completeness of the response.
Sure.
So it's a little subjective, but I think it's a very fair process.
Great. And how are you going to evaluate firms or people putting in a bid, their past experience working with the public?
Well, hopefully that's something that will be included in their proposal. There's also, we request references from 2 previous clients of each of the proposers, so that's a part of the proposal packet, so there'll be some information in there. There's a series of questions that's included in the RFP packet about experience that the proposers have had with different aspects of the work.
Are there any other questions?
Yep. Judy, is the proposal allowing subcontracts for the proposal?
Yes, I think this is such a complex project that it's almost certain that there will be teams of proposers in order to provide all of the expertise that is needed to do this work. I would be surprised if one entity has all of that expertise in-house, but you never know. There's another question, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
One comment again with Miller Gun Privacy District. What criteria will be used to develop the method for the contractors to select the different alternatives and the preferred alternative routes or alignments? Is that going to be developed through the alignment committee there, or how is that going to go forward?
I think that'll be developed through the master plan process. That's why it's phase 1. The master plan would identify what are the important criteria for the trail, what are the challenges and opportunities. And so I think that would probably result in a list of criteria for selecting the preferred alternative. If anybody, there are working groups that are participating in this effort. I haven't been involved with them, but there may be some inputs that we receive from working groups on the best way to make those decisions. So it'll be a work in progress. Another question, Mr. Chair?
Yes, please, in the back.
2 questions. One, I understand correctly that the scope of work is online on the webpage and we can look at it?
It is.
Okay. The second question is on the working groups. I know I had signed up for 2 maybe the working groups, but I don't know if any of them have met or there's been any progress. Maybe I missed something, but I haven't been contacted about it.
Yeah, can answer that question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, thank you for that question. We have had some working groups that have been very active. I know that Gina Del Russo and the resource group will be talking about some of the things that they've been working towards. Thank you. But some of our other groups haven't been as active. We'll hear from several of those folks. They've really been kind of waiting on this process, on the RFP process. So we will be seeing, I'm sure, a lot more movement with regard to the work groups as we move forward. But we will be hearing from most of the work groups today in terms of even the thoughts of future planning.
Any question on that?
Is there criteria in the RFP or in the selection process to evaluate and ensure that the contractors include public input from different entities?
Yes. If you want a copy of the RFP and you have trouble finding it on our website, you can call me. My number is 476-3387. I'd be happy to send you a copy of the RFP packet. And as I said, the scope of work and the evaluation criteria are very detailed in that document. So, and if you have questions about it after you've seen it, I'm happy to answer those as well.
What was the number again?
476-3387, that's area code 505. Great, thank you.
Can I ask one more question, Judy? Sorry.
Oh, sure.
You said it had been sent out to 18 agencies or contractors or whatever. Is there anybody in New Mexico that you expect to bid on this?
Yes, as I said, these people that have contacted me are from a variety of places, and that excludes people who may have obtained the RFP from our website. So I suspect there are other people that have the RFP. So I'm not sure, but that's one of the reasons I wanted to have the mandatory pre-proposal meeting so that all of the people interested have an opportunity to see who else is interested and even possibly team up and you know, we get the best, most qualified people we can possibly find to do this work.
And just one last question, I promise. In terms of the people finding the RFP, so you can find it on the commission website. And
Right.
is there anywhere else it can be found?
You can call me and I'll send it to you. At this point, as far as I know, it's the only place that it's posted. Yeah.
And that's kind of standard operating procedure, that's how that works.
Yeah, right, and it was advertised that the whole text of the RFP was not included in the newspapers that I mentioned. But I do have a list of all the people to whom I've sent the full RFP, if people are interested. I have the name of the company and an email address